U.S. Life-Saving Service.
For over 15 years, Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated has been a beacon of light, guiding local families through difficult times. Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated proudly provides all families with compassionate choices for professional funeral care at reasonable prices. Get the answers you need 24 hours a day. No answering services, hidden costs, add-on fees, confusing fine print, or those scary-looking contracts. Remember, Gallup Funeral Services owns and operates the only crematory in Dare County, keeping our cremations affordable and convenient. Gallup Memorial Chapel in Bargo, North Carolina is now open and minutes from Moyock and Elizabeth City. From traditional church services and graveside burials to direct cremations and advanced planning, let Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated light the way for your family. Don't be pressured or confused by the other funeral homes. It's always your choice. Choose Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated. Call Courtney at 252-216-8030 to get a plan started today and visit our new website at gallupfuneralservices.com.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
News team, assemble!
Joining us live because if you want to know anything about the Outer Banks, Sam Walker's the dude to fill you in.
The sea was angry that day, my friends. Like an old man trying to send back soup in a deli.
Always appreciate talking to you.
Always good stuff with Sam Walker in the Outer Banks.
Now here's Les Nessman and the news.
And good morning, everyone. Welcome to OBX Today for this Veterans Day, November 11th, 2021. I'm Sam Walker. Glad to have you along with us for this Thursday edition of OBX Today Live, presented by Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated. on the OBX Today Facebook page and the Sam Walker OBX YouTube channel. Got a little breaking news for you right now. We got a report of a power outage from folks at Tideland EMC that's affecting all the customers on the Dare County mainland and East Lake. Losing power this morning. No update on that. They did say they have just sent out crews. It's happened about just over a half hour ago. And actually, it's also affecting Stumpy Point as well. So all those on the mainland circuit from Tideland EMC. I'm just checking my phone right now, the graphic. Yeah, and includes Mans Harbor as well. 403 members of Tideland EMC on the Stumpy Point, East Lake, Mans Harbor circuit without power at the moment. We'll get an update on that. It happened about a half hour ago. Tideland's really good about putting out updates when they have outages. So as soon as we get something on that, we will pass it along to you here on the show. Good morning, everybody checking in from us all over the place as we get going on this Thursday morning. All right, just trying to get up there so we can react to your comments as they come in here on OBX Today Live on the OBX Today Facebook page. Headlines this morning. First off, we'll start with the latest on the situation on Hatteras Island. The cleanup continuing. Thankfully, not a huge amount of damage reported, but there has been some damage reported, or at least impacts to properties from our weekend storm. I'm going to show you first off. Here is video that we got courtesy Orville Scarborough down on Hatteras Island. It's a friend of his who has a house down there and got this on their Nest camera during the peak of the storm. Let me drop down the lower third there so you can see. There's a septic tank in this house. That right there, up in the top right corner, that's the Knights of Rodanthe house, which was moved down farther from where it used to stand on the oceanfront in Merlo Beach, and has been moved down farther south into Rodanthe. You can see the septic tank there and how big these waves were during the peak of the storm over the weekend. We did have reports yesterday from Dare County. Dorothy Hester getting back with us yesterday regarding the damage they've had so far after sending out assessment teams and building inspectors yesterday. They had 11 properties in Rodanthe were affected, all on the ocean front. Most were for exposed or damaged septic and minor surge-related damage. In Buxton, 3 commercial properties affected. Obviously, the motels right there as you come into Buxton. 33 residential properties. All those from down Tower Road. From the motels and then right down the oceanfront in Buxton for a total of 36. And in Avon, 4 residential properties were affected. Those were on the Ocean View Drive area. Now, with that total of 51 properties that were affected in some way, they do not have the damage estimates, dollar figures yet. That's still being calculated. But this is just the initial damage assessment on Hatteras Island that took place yesterday by Dare County. And we should get some more information probably about that tomorrow. Today is a county, state, and federal holiday. So we'll have it for you on the show tomorrow for sure. May have it later today if it were to come in at obxtoday.com. Latest on what's going on with the Rodanthe Pier. We've got that new info coming from our pal Joy Chris down at Island Free Press with a story up this morning. We've got it on the H2O page at obxtoday.com. Let's see. I still have those photos. Do I still have those photos available? I don't have them handy, so I'll throw this up here instead. This is just our story this morning from on the H2O page. And again, that's courtesy of the Island Free Press. Despite suffering some damage during the nor'easter, the Rodanthe Pier has reopened, but they got some work still to do. You can see here about 2/3 of the way out, they did lose a section there. And the end of the pier, obviously not accessible. The operators of the Rodanthe Pier said they lost a piling, which caused 2 adjacent sections to cave in. That's from Terry Plumley, owner and manager of the pier. It's about 2/3 of the way out and lost the fish cleaning station too. But the pier is back open for fishing. It will remain open until they close after Thanksgiving weekend, and then repairs will be taking place over the winter in December and January. They've already got a repair crew scheduled to come in December to work on it, so that was already scheduled. But they're going to go ahead and have a little bit more work to do now. Avon Pier reopened Wednesday morning after addressing a few minor storm-related issues. Didn't sustain any major damage. But here is those photos. We had talked about Karen Liebing with those photos, courtesy of the Island Free Press, of the Rodanthe Pier damage. Just you can see piling lost right there in the middle of that section, and that just caused the two sections to kind of fall or collapse. And so you got the gap out there. But they'd already planned on doing some work over the off-season. They're just going to add to the work. But the end of the pier not accessible. And that kind of stinks because the fishing really has picked up at many locations in the Outer Banks over the last 2 days since the storm let go. We're seeing some big speckled trout. We're seeing some puppy drums still, some nice black drum caught, sea mullet, some good sized sea mullet too. So the surf fishing really kicked right back up, a lot better than I expected, with our water temperatures dropping down to around 60 right now. And now that things have really calmed down, and as you can see, it's a picture perfect postcard day out there. A little haze this morning and fog that we've been dealing with this morning, but really nice day out there. This is our live shot courtesy of surfchecks.com at Avon. The Rodanthe Pier kind of still cloudy looking because of the sea spray. Here's the view from looking south from Hatteras. Man, does it look nice down there. Same thing off Corolla. It's just about a picture-perfect day this morning and some nice weather conditions. Although tonight, we're going to get some rain, and into tomorrow, then the temperature's going to drop back down into more normal range for the weekend. All that coming up in the OBX Today Weather Center forecast. Tropical weather update for you, as we do have some activity in the tropics to talk about, or do we? It's still hanging on out there. That little piece of what was left of the nor'easter continues to show the signs that it may become something tropical. But it looks like it's running out of time. The latest update from the National Hurricane Center only puts that area at a 30% chance of cyclone formation. The showers and thunderstorms associated with that area of low pressure, about 1,000 miles east-northeast of Bermuda, has changed very little in organization since last night, although there's still a small chance the system could become a short-lived subtropical storm today. The system is quickly moving over cooler waters, and the likelihood of subtropical development has decreased. By this weekend, the system's expected to be absorbed by a larger non-tropical low as it makes its way up into the North Atlantic. Kind of close to the Azores, and then possibly headed towards Europe. But Adria, still a chance we may get Adria this time by the end of the day, but it's really running out of time. Jam, you just asked about Hatteras Village. I'll go back to your comment there. Other than just a little bit of a wash as you come into the village, and then some minor soundside flooding, about a foot at the most of water coming in to Hatteras Village on the sound side. That's it. They really did no damage from what we got from Dare County. Everything that was damage-wise or impacts directly on properties was on the east-facing side. So Rodanthe, Wave Salvo, then down to Avon and Buxton. But it looks like, for the most part, just some nuisance flooding, Jam, as far as Hatteras Village goes. But back to our tropical weather update. You can see nothing else is on the map on the 5-day outlook. I'll pull up the satellite image here on our display for you. There's how things kind of look this morning on the 2-day. There's that swirl out there of what was our nor'easter. It looks pretty impressive on satellite. But again, it looks like it's running out of time. Something to note. I've had this question a couple of times in the past with storms. And it's like this: why don't they get named? What makes it tropical and non-tropical? And essentially what it is, and I asked a question out of our friends down at the Morehead City office of the National Weather Service. This is a cold core storm. It was a barclonic. You get choked up about it. But it was a cold core storm associated with a cold front and did not have that tropical nature development. There's very scientific terms for it, but it really comes down to it's just a cold core system. This thing may pick up some tropical characteristics again today, and then it'll be done as far as being any potential tropical system. Nothing really to look at as far as the maps go. A little disturbance down here in the northwestern Caribbean and over Cuba. Just some shower storm activity there. Nothing coming off Africa or in the intertropical zone as we get here into the last 2 weeks of the tropical season. Nothing to talk about that's going to get named, it looks like. After being a rather active season, it's going to be the third most active season in terms of named storms in history, at least in the satellite era. Looks like we're going to end it kind of on a quiet note as far as the tropics are concerned. So there's your tropical weather update. We've got more of OBX today for you on this Veterans Day coming up. So stay right where you are.
For over 15 years, Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated has been a beacon of light, guiding local families through difficult times. Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated proudly provides all families with compassionate choices for professional funeral care at reasonable prices. Get the answers you need 24 hours a day. No answering services, hidden costs, add-on fees, confusing fine print, or those scary-looking contracts. Remember, Gallup Funeral Services owns and operates the only crematory in Dare County, keeping our cremations affordable and convenient. Gallup Memorial Chapel in Bargo, North Carolina is now open and minutes from Moyock and Elizabeth City. From traditional church services and graveside burials to direct cremations and advanced planning, let Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated light the way for your family. Don't be pressured or confused by the other funeral homes. It's always your choice. Choose Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated. Call Courtney at 252-216-8030 to get a plan started today, and visit our new website at GallupFuneralServices.com.
We want to make sure that people have access to new and exciting authors, maybe expand their horizons a little bit, and just make sure that they're enjoying what they're reading. We have people who move here and they may have had access to a really large library system in a metropolitan area, but we can always win them over with our personalized service.
Hi. Hey, how are you? Good, how are you? Good.
Every now and then someone would come to the desk and say, gee, I'm kind of out of ideas. I've read all of the books by this author. Who else is there? And we ask a few questions about your reading interests, maybe some authors that you really liked, what you liked about their books, and then staff would commiserate and find books that we thought you would enjoy. And so one of our goals at the libraries right now is to take the services that we thought worked really well and figure out a way to integrate them into kind of our permanent services and programs. And so we're introducing on our website something that we call Your Next Great Read. We will ask some questions. What are some books that you really like, or some authors you really like, some genres you really like? We would just try to find out what they're interested in. It's not just fiction. You know, there's a whole world of nonfiction. Maybe you're interested in history or in sports or biography. There's really large and diverse collection of nonfiction materials too. If it's for a child, we will ask their reading interests, obviously, their grade, but also their reading level. For now, the recommendations are for physical items only. We would do it for books, books on CD, or DVDs. We certainly welcome feedback in all aspects of our service. For Your Next Great Read, we are hoping people will give us feedback and let us know. And, you know, we will learn from that and try to do better with future requests. We have 3 locations to serve you: Manteo, Hatteras, and Kill Devil Hills. To find all of our readers advisory information, including the Your Next Great Read form, go to www.darenc.com/reading.
Back here on OBX Today on this Veterans Day and Veterans Week on the Outer Banks continuing. A lot of still great events still going on this week. Dare County Arts Council, the Outer Banks Visitors Bureau, the North Carolina Arts Council, a whole bunch of other groups involved. Jack Brown's Beer and Burger Joint, Coastal Studies Institute, Publix, Roanoke Island Women's Club, Friends of Elizabeth II, Blue Star Mothers of North Carolina Chapter 6 of the Outer Banks, and the American Legion for supporting are all supporting Outer Banks Veterans Week. And so many hotels, restaurants, and other businesses throughout the Outer Banks taking part. Of course, we talked with Jessica Sands, the Dare County Arts Council Executive Director, last week about the activities coming up, and that includes the writing workshop that they have ahead. If you didn't get that, to see that, we've got that up on obxtoday.com on the Things to Do page right now, and you can check out the video and our talk with Jessica from last week. Jessica will be back with us here on the show Tuesday. We're going to make her a regular appearance. We're going to make it like we did with Chris Alwyn when he was executive director, and now, of course, is at the Outer Banks Relief Foundation, or the Community Foundation. But now Jessica Sands is the executive director of the Dare County Arts Council, and she's going to be a regular guest with us here to tell us about stuff going on. And let's see, today's activities. The Outer Banks Veterans Week concert. There's a free concert tonight in the backyard at Jack Brown's Beer and Burger Joint in Kidable Hills. Going to feature Trick Fly starting at 6 o'clock, and it's open to everyone. That's today. Then the Veterans Workshop is this Saturday and Sunday at the UNC Coastal Studies Institute. It's the 8th Annual Outer Banks Veterans Writing Workshop. Writer, educator, editor, and veteran Dario De Batista will lead this year's Veterans Writing Workshop, titled A Guide to Telling Your Stories. Ceremonies coming up today on the Outer Banks. In Southern Shores at Town Hall starting at 11 o'clock. Downtown Manio at the Dare County Veterans Memorial, their ceremony at 11. In Nags Head, the Veterans Day ceremony is at 11 at Nags Head Town Hall. And in Kidable Hills at 12:30. That'll be at the Veterans Memorial in Kidable Hills. A whole bunch of other veteran specials and discounts taking place in the Outer Banks this week at restaurants and hotels and such. Go get your books. No, it's okay. Emily's headed out to COA Board of Trustees meeting, so she had to get her reference materials out from behind us in the background. But there's a whole lot going on that has been going on and continues. North Carolina Aquarium offering free admission today for veterans, active duty military, and their spouses and dependents. Just so many things. We've got it all on the Things to Do page at obxtoday.com. Tonight on ESPN, it's their Salute to Service Veterans Day Sports Center special that airs for the first time tonight. First airs at 6:30 this evening, and then we'll have multiple re-airs on ESPN, and that includes Sunday afternoon at 1:30 on ABC. The Veterans Day special will have a focus on the Coast Guard Academy and the Pea Island Life-Saving Station. Yes, the Outer Banks is going to be featured on this. Solomon Ashby III, who's a fourth-class cadet, defensive lineman for the Coast Guard Academy football team, is one of those that's going to be featured on this special. His grandfather, his actual great-great-grandfather, was George E. Pruden, who was the fifth keeper of the Pea Island Life-Saving Station, served at the station, which stood roughly where the Captain Richard Etheridge Bridge is now on Pea Island. He was there before retire. George Pruden was the keeper, the fifth keeper, before he retired in the late 1930s. ESPN visited the Pea Island Cookhouse Museum, which is in Manio, to gather information about the station and the film footage that will be featured on the Veterans Day special. Let's see, where is that video? Yeah, let me add the file here, and then I'm going to show you. In case you haven't seen this, we've got tipped off to this by a friend of ours who is actually a manager for the Coast Guard Academy football team. and works in the athletic department up there. That's from Elizabeth City. And he tipped us off that all this is going on. Oh, I thought I had that video saved here. Apologize. I had the video. Let's see. It may still be downloading. But we had gotten video from, here's why, because I haven't saved it yet. It's still waiting for me to save it and tell it where to put it. That's why. Okay. I'm also looking for the wrong file name. All right. But I did want to get this video up to show you, if you haven't seen it yet, the uniforms that Coast Guard Academy football team has been wearing during this 2021 season. And those special uniforms are honoring the Pea Island Life Saving Station. So, I know why that video, because I'm looking at the wrong date. There we go. Let's see if I can get
Life
this
Saving
played
Service.
for you. I gotta put it to
Station 17.
Where is it? There it is.
Pea Island, North
All right,
Carolina.
so this is pretty cool that they did this feature.
Formed in 1871 to ensure
when the
safe
uniforms
passage of
were
Americans and
released.
international shipping.
The Coast
to
Guard
save
Academy. You can
lives
see
and
there,
salvage cargo.
Station 17 was the
P7
number
and
designation
Station 17
of the Coast Guard
was the first
Academy,
life-saving
Pea Island
service
Life-Saving Station.
in the country to
Station
have an
17.
all-black crew.
And that's
Station
part of the
keeper
reason why you're
Richard
seeing
led the crew through
17
rigorous
as the
training and
initial
held them to
number.
the highest
You see there the logo on the pants, 17.
They were always
on the
ready to make a
breeches,
rescue.
what do you call them?
Called into action
And
in
then the jersey
1896.
with Pea Island on the back.
Tasked with the
They've
rescue
worn
of a
those
schooner
several
in the middle of
times
the
this
storm.
season. That's
They
one of the
successfully
ways. You see
rescued
the U.S.
passengers aboard the
U.S.
US Newton.
Life-Saving Service.
100 years later, the crew was
as
awarded
part
the
of that,
National Gold Life-Saving Medal for saving all hands
or part of
aboard
honoring the
US
Pea Island
Newton.
Life-Saving Station,
Honor,
which was the
respect,
first
devotion to duty.
life-saving station to be
These men
manned by
lived
an
out
all-black
these values
crew.
every day.
Of course, Captain
They should
Richard
be honored for
Etheridge was the
heroics.
first keeper of the station, and of course honored now with that bridge on Pea Island. It carries Highway 12 over the breach caused by Hurricane Irene 10 years ago. And the feature tonight, so going back to what we were talking about a moment ago, ESPN tonight, the Veterans Day special at 6:30 is going to feature the Pea Island Life Saving Station. And you can learn more about the history of the Pea Island Life Saving Station. Visit the Cookhouse Museum. It's the Cookhouse that was part of the station, now located on Sir Walter Raleigh Street in Mania. Just follow the signs. The museum is open on Saturdays from 11 to 3 if you'd like to check it out. But we've got details at obxtoday.com right now about this feature that's going to be on ESPN tonight. That's going to talk about us here on the Outer Banks. So pretty cool. All right, OBX Today. That's what you're on right now here on Facebook Live and YouTube on this Veterans Day. Yesterday, the National Park Service announced that they've got a new way to keep up with what's happening at the 3 national parks here on the Outer Banks. You can now sign up to get a variety of text alerts from Cape Hatteras National Seashore, Fort Raleigh National Historic Site, and Wright Brothers National Memorial. That'll include park operational updates, conditions, information on educational programs, and a whole lot more. David Halleck, who's superintendent of National Parks of Eastern North Carolina, said this new communications tool will be both a benefit to vacationers and year-round residents in Dare and Hyde counties. For the details on how to sign up, just visit the H2O page at obxtoday.com right now. It's pretty simple. It's NPS. You just text NPS OBX to 333-111. That's a simple remember. NPS OBX to 333-111. I signed up as soon as this came out. I signed up yesterday. It'll be nice because they'll be able to get instant information. Rip current conditions. That'll be nice to have that. Also, when they have to close the campgrounds and close the sites, and when they've got special events coming up. So another way to keep in contact with what's going on with our 3 national parks here on the Outer Banks. Now, also, the National Park Service announcing that they are taking comments now. I think I may have mentioned this yesterday, but we'll mention it again, that there is plans to expand the turn lanes at the Coquina Beach, Body Island, Lighthouse access roads on Highway 12, just south of Nags Head. One of the big additions will be adding a turn lane for the northbound traffic into Coquina Beach, and then making the turn lanes longer on both ends. You've already got a right turn lane into the Body Island Lighthouse Road and a left turn lane into Coquina Beach, but just a left turn lane at the Lighthouse, but no right turn lane. And just because of the speed out there, I mean, the speed limit is 55 through there. Not many people do 55s through there. Well, okay, let's say this. There's either a lot of people doing way over 55 and people doing under 55. We've all driven that at one time and gotten stuck or gotten blown past on that stretch of Highway 12. But it's this plan is being developed. They've had some wetlands they're going to have to deal with just nearby that would have to be mitigated, and they do have to do some public comment periods on that. So the public comment period on the wetland statement of findings is underway. There'll be some other work that has to be done. No time frame yet on the construction of this. Probably with the way the planning process works, it'll be sometime next year when those turn lanes will be extended. So, of course, we'll keep you posted about that as we get closer to it. Another public comment period is wrapping up this week, actually on the 18th, so a week from today, and that's on the draft environmental assessment on the Corps of Engineers plans to possibly realign the Hatteras Ferry Channel. This would be to make it this would be to put into writing changes that need to be made so that the Hatteras ferries won't have to run so far. The historic route, let's see, I'm trying to find there's a map. But what they're talking about doing would be to cut a corridor between Barney Slough and Sloop Channel that would cut down the amount of time it takes to make that trip for the ferries. That's one of the alternatives is the maintenance of the horseshoe route any time of year. That would open up the door so that they could actually maintain the channel outside the current windows, because they do have a closed time period. They're not allowed to do dredging currently without special permission. This would just open that up so that dredging could take place on a much more regular basis. So the details on that, you can go to the H2O page and find it. We'll get it recycled up because the comment period is wrapping up. There are a lot of people still wanting to keep up and wanting to get the information about what's going on there in Hatteras Inlet. All right, more OBX today. We got that for you coming up here next on Facebook and YouTube. So stay right where you are. Happy Thursday morning.
For over 15 years, Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated has been a beacon of light, guiding local families through difficult times. Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated proudly provides all families with compassionate choices for professional funeral care at reasonable prices. Get the answers you need 24 hours a day. No answering services, hidden costs, add-on fees, confusing fine print, or those scary-looking contracts. Remember, Gallup Funeral Services owns and operates the only crematory in Dare County, keeping our cremations affordable and convenient. Gallup Memorial Chapel in Bargo, North Carolina is now open and minutes from Moyock and Elizabeth City. From traditional church services and graveside burials to direct cremations and advanced planning, let Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated light the way for your family. Don't be pressured or confused by the other funeral homes. It's always your choice. Choose Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated. Call Courtney at 252-216-8030 to get a plan started today, and visit our new website at gallupfuneralservices.com.
Our pet of the week for this week is Layla. This sweet and soulful lady is 10 years young. Layla loves to be held and also likes to talk. Layla is in the very early stages of renal failure, but we are working with our vet to ensure she is comfortable and thriving. At this time, we are looking for Layla to be placed in a foster or forever home. We would love her to be in a home very soon. She is perfect. To adopt Layla or foster one of our other animals, you can come visit us Monday through Saturday at our shelter located in Manteo. Look out for our next volunteer orientation that will take place Thursday, November 18th at 4 p.m. For more information, visit our website at www.obxspca.org or visit our OBX SPCA Facebook page.
The U.S. Life Saving Service.
There we go. Too many clicks to do. Back on OBX Today live here on Facebook and YouTube. Speaking of the SPCA and volunteers with that training that's coming up next week. Shout out to our very own Carrie Pugh. Her and her daughter have gotten trained up by the SPCA and are being foster parents. They got a bunch of kittens they're fostering right now at her house there. So shout out to Carrie Pugh here at obxtoday.com. How she does all the work she does. It's amazing. And then even be fostering kittens right now. There at her home in Killable Hills. All right. Some updated news from Raleigh. No budget deal between the governor and the Republican leaders, but they could be close for both to be happy. Yesterday, Governor Cooper put out a statement saying as such. 4 months late, the $25.7 billion North Carolina state budget finally moving ahead, votes in the General Assembly next week. That means thousands of teachers and other state employees could get raises, tax cuts could be on the way, and construction projects across the state could get rolling, and a comprehensive state budget could be passed for the first time in 3 years. Lawmakers are ready, according to a top Republican who told the News and Observer last night, come hell or high water. Now, this news comes the same day that a judge in Union County ruled that the state has got to transfer $1.7 billion from its reserves to increase funding for public education, an action that GOP lawmakers call rogue and a violation of the state constitution. This is in the long-running Leandro school funding case. We've talked about this several times before. State Superior Court Judge David Lee of Union County ruled Wednesday that North Carolina has failed to provide students with their constitutional guarantee to a sound basic education. To remedy the violation, Lee ordered the state budget director, state treasurer, and state controller to take the necessary actions to transfer the total amount of $1.75 billion to fund the next 2 years of a plan developed by an education consultant. This case goes back 17 years since the last time the state Supreme Court said the state wasn't meeting its educational obligations. Now, Lee's order will not go into effect for 30 days, but even then, the money will likely be transferred anytime soon, as leaders of the Republican-controlled General Assembly are expected to fight what they call an unconstitutional order. And GOP lawmakers have said the state constitution only empowers the legislature to spend money. All right, last night, another SpaceX launch taking place, this time out of Cape Canaveral, Florida. 4 astronauts on board, becoming the 600th people to reach space in 60 years. The repeatedly delayed flight occurred just 2 days after SpaceX brought 4 other astronauts home from the International Space Station. They should have been up there to welcome the newcomers, but NASA and SpaceX decided to switch the order based on Monday's ideal recovery weather in the Gulf of Mexico and pull it off. Now, the launch was just as riveting for spectators at NASA's Kennedy Space Center as well as along the East Coast as the Falcon rocket thundered through clouds down in Florida on its way to space, turning night into day. But here in eastern North Carolina, we actually saw it. And for the first time, I finally got video of a SpaceX launch out of Cape Canaveral. Having lived at this home for almost 2 years now here on the Currituck Sound. It's not the best video, I know. There you go. You can barely see it. Thank you. The cell phone that I've got now, I was trying to zoom out to get a better shot and I lost the light capabilities of the thing to expand or open its iris to get better light. So I had to stay zoomed in. So you'll see it kind of fade out. There it is. That's the second stage. We weren't expecting it really to be that visible because it was at 9 o'clock. So well after sunset. I know the last couple of launches, folks have seen the first stage and then the transfer to the second stage, or then going into staging, and really see some bright luminescent clouds, bright exhaust reflection from the sun. Either it was an early morning launch or an early evening launch when they still had the angle of the sun coming over the horizon and reflecting. But this time we got to see it. It was the second stage. It was much later than I expected, about 6 minutes after launch. And it was almost due east of us here. So roughly from my vantage point on Water Lily, looking at the Currituck Beach Lighthouse. That's how it looked pretty much for everybody. The crazy thing about it was, and Carrie's got photos that she took from down in Kidawville Hills last night from 3rd Street. And some really good shots of it just with her iPhone. I did it with this. The video I shot was with the new Samsung S21 Ultra, which I'm really impressed with the camera on it. She got this just a regular an iPhone. I'm not sure which version she's got. But these photos I've got up right now of it, that's kind of how it looked from here on the beach. And it looked pretty much like that even back as far as Charlotte. And the funny thing was I'd gone outside at lunchtime, had my phone on, listening to the launch coverage, and had Brad Panovich, who is the meteorologist at the NBC affiliate in Charlotte on WCNC, and he was actually up on their roof taking video and did a feature on live on Facebook. And I had come back inside because I was like, well, missed another one and was kind of bummed. And then as I walk back in here into my studio, I hear Brad say, oh, there it is. Just as he said that, I ran back out, got the video that you see. Well, while I was out there, I noticed while I was shooting, I was like, that seemed like almost like a flash bulb had popped somewhere behind me to the west. And I didn't think about it twice. We have a cul-de-sac here that is out in front of our house. And I was like, okay, somebody turned around. I just didn't even think about it. Well, then I got back inside and all of a sudden everything's blowing up did you see the fireball? No, totally missed the fireball last night. And I've got video. This is from someone in Cary who got it. I think he's in Cary looking towards us, looking to the east. And this is what he saw at the same time he was tracking the launch last night. Yeah. See that? Let me blow it out here. I'll do a full screen so it's a little bit easier to see. We'll cycle it back. So anyway, he's tracking the launch. You can barely see a little pinprick of light. And there, right there, Fireball Meteor. Right at the same time that the SpaceX launch was going on, this Fireball Meteor came streaking by. And I had a lot of people comment. I don't think anybody got it. For me anyway, it was behind me. I didn't see it. I was looking, again, almost east. So at about 90 degrees on the compass, maybe a little bit farther north, and saw the SpaceX and was shooting the video. And like I said, just over my shoulder, and I saw the reflection, just like a little bright reflection of light on my phone as I was holding it up, and thought somebody had turned around. It was that Fireball Meteor. I know a lot of people commented on the OBX Locals page, commented about it on our post on obxtoday.com if you haven't seen the video of the SpaceX stuff. But that's the Fireball. That was the view from inland, from Cary, outside of Raleigh, last night. And then I just got a message on Twitter this morning from one of our regular folks that like to check in with us on the Twitter. That said she saw another fireball this morning looking almost due south as she was coming through Nag's Head. That she saw another fireball last night. This morning around 5:30 this morning. Who was that? I'm going to go to TweetDeck to check that. Yeah, Danny Lloyd said last night she saw another green-looking meteorite this morning about 5:45 heading directly south from Nag's Head. So, pretty cool. Science, space stuff last night. So, the SpaceX launch finally got one. And on a clear night, we can see them. I remember, during the space shuttle era, you could really see the space shuttle because it would go kind of low over the horizon on its launch. But because it had so much brighter rocket, this is a single engine that's powering this, a single stack. Whereas you had the solid rocket boosters and the main engines on the space shuttle, and it's such a huge complex. It really was visible seeing it streaking up at the same time as being able to see the International Space Station, because the track of the International Space Station for launches that come out of Kennedy it's got to be basically overhead when they light the candle, and it takes off and chases after the International Space Station right up the coast of North America and right off of us. And in fact, I was listening last night, the Wallops Island tracking station up on the eastern shore was part of the tracking network last night. And they said that they had acquisition of signal at Wallops Island and then loss of that signal as the Falcon 9 flew past Wallops Island and essentially flew past us. And of course, we see the launches out of Wallops Island quite a bit. It's not like it's some great big fireball like you see if you were down in Florida. You have to know what you're looking at. It's just like almost a quick moving pinprick of light sometimes with these rockets. Sometimes it's bigger. Sometimes you get the images like we've got up on the screen right now, where you can see that exhaust from the second stage of a Falcon 9 coming out of Cape Canaveral. But it's cool to think there's 4 people on that flying to the International Space Station. Some other headlines for you this morning. Congratulations to Willow Kelly at the Outer Banks Association of Realtors. She has earned a new designation, receiving what's known as the Certified Executive Designation, which recognizes exceptional efforts made by Realtors Association executives. Kelly's one of 525 Realtor Association executives to achieve the mark of excellence. Local and state association executives who hold the RCA designation represent realtors in 48 states and territories. Kelly has been CEO of the Outer Banks Association of Realtors since April of 2018. And, of course, she's also been very active in the insurance situation going on, whether it's the homeowners insurance rises that are proposed, also with the flood insurance situation. So if you're looking for a good resource for assistance, Outer Banks Association of Realtors, Willow Kelly is really someone you can bounce things off of if you're in the industry or if you're a homeowner, even about the issues that we have out here on the coast with regards to these insurance rate hikes. Got a story up. Actually, I've got a story I had on radio today, kind of related to that. There's a hearing that was supposed to have taken place the first of the month on a proposal to raise homeowners insurance rates by 25%. That has been delayed until January 3rd by State Insurance Commissioner Mike Causey. That 25% is a statewide average. That's what they're proposing of hitting us out here on the coast with, while the rest of the state will not see nearly the same amount again on those homeowners insurance rate hike proposals. We'll see. But again, that hearing that was supposed to have taken place on November 1st has been pushed to January the 3rd. And we'll keep you posted about that. A couple other news and notes this morning at obxtoday.com. Currituck County is going to be replacing the playground equipment at Sound Park down in Point Harbor. That's going to start tomorrow. So the playground at Sound Park is going to be closed starting tomorrow. And they'll start demolishing tomorrow. And then probably should be about a month, roughly around Christmas, when they expect to have that work done on that playground at Sound Park. The rest of Sound Park will remain open. Just the playground will be closing starting tomorrow for demolition work. Nearly 100 bird species migrate to North Carolina this time of the year, and the North Carolina Bird Atlas is looking for help recording those gatherings. Birders, hunters, and conservation enthusiasts encouraged to record their bird observations for the rest of the year for the North Carolina Bird Atlas, a project to mobilize thousands of volunteer bird watchers across the state to log all bird species over the next 5 years. The North Carolina Wildlife Resources Commission organized the efforts. Officials asked that observations made now through December 31st be recorded in eBird, an online source to input bird sightings. The early winter bird atlas season begins November 1st. We'll get a link up to that later today at obxtoday.com if you'd like to take part. I can tell you we've seen a lot more ducks this year. It's been kind of nice seeing a lot more ducks here on the Currituck Sound. All right, we'll step aside one final time, come back with a look at sports and weather. It is OBX Today on this Veterans Day Thursday morning. Stay right there.
For over 15 years, Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated has been a beacon of light, guiding local families through difficult times. Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated proudly provides all families with compassionate choices for professional funeral care at reasonable prices. Get the answers you need 24 hours a day. No answering services, hidden costs, add-on fees, confusing fine print, or those scary-looking contracts. Remember, Gallup Funeral Services owns and operates the only crematory in Dare County, keeping our cremations affordable and convenient. Gallup Memorial Chapel in Bargo, North Carolina is now open and minutes from Moyock and Elizabeth City. From traditional church services and graveside burials to direct cremations and advanced planning, let Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated light the way for your family. Don't be pressured or confused by the other funeral homes. It's always your choice. Choose Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated. Call Courtney at 252-216-8030 to get a plan started today, and visit our new website at gallupfuneralservices.com.
All right, back one final time here on OBX Today on Facebook and YouTube. The high school football playoffs getting underway tonight. Second round getting underway tonight. Several games here locally have been moved up. That's to avoid the rain that's coming tonight, overnight, and tomorrow, so they don't tear up the fields they played on them after it rains, especially for a couple of these teams are expecting to host playoff games in the next round. Big game, of course, is in Elizabeth City tonight. That's Northeastern hosting John A. Holmes at a 7 o'clock kickoff. Perquimans home to take on Riverside, and Northside hosts Hobton. So those are second-round playoff games tonight in the state high school football playoffs. I believe those are our only local games because everybody else got bounced in the first round. So high school soccer playoffs tonight. Top seed in the East 3A First Flight is home. Take on Western Alamance at 6 o'clock. And number 1 seed Clinton hosts number 4 Manio in 2A down in Sampson County. So long trip for the Redskins tonight for that one. College basketball last night. Wake Forest beat William & Mary. Old Dominion down Virginia Wesleyan. Rest of the college basketball schedule will kind of pick up tomorrow. High school college football tonight. Number 25 Pitt hosting North Carolina. That's at Heinz Field tonight on ESPN. NFL news, Sam Darnold out 4 weeks with a shoulder fracture. This quarterback for the Carolina Panthers. That means P.J. Walker will be the starter at QB for the Panthers this weekend when they play NFC-leading Arizona. Tonight on the NFL schedule, you got Baltimore at Miami. All right, OBX Today Weather Center forecast for today. Looks like we're going to be dealing with some rain tonight and tomorrow morning. Could about a half to an inch to 1 inch of rain out of this cold front that's going to be coming through tonight, or actually tomorrow. And that is going to obviously bring us some much cooler conditions over the next couple of days. But we are, hey, we'll take it. A little rain to mess things up and then get back at it with some nice, sunny, cooler weather tomorrow. So the OBX Today Weather Center forecast calling for sunny, after the fog gets out of here, sunny skies. Highs around 70 with south winds of 5 to 10 miles an hour. For tonight, mostly cloudy, showers and thunderstorms overnight. Looks like it's really going to be around early tomorrow morning. So we may not even see any rain on the beach until 2, 3, 4, 5 a.m. tomorrow. Low down to 62 with southeast winds 10 to 15, gusts to 20. Tomorrow, showers likely, possibly a thunderstorm before noon. A chance of showers through the rest of the day, a high 70. South winds of 15 to 20. They'll be decreasing to 5 to 10 miles an hour in the afternoon. Friday night, partly cloudy, 57. Sunny and 68 on Saturday. Clear, breezy, 47 Saturday night. Sunday and just 59 on Sunday. Monday, sunny and 57. Tuesday, sunny, 54. And Wednesday, sunny with a high 61. Coastal marine forecast day. Nice conditions to be out on the water. Southeast winds around 5 to 10 knots, becoming south 10 to 15 in the afternoon. 1 foot waves or less in the sound. Seas 3 to 4 feet. Water temperatures right around 60. Next tide change at Oregon Inlet's a high tide at 1:15 this afternoon. Sunset tonight at 4:57. Sunrise tomorrow is at 6:35. Currently outside the studios in Uptown Nags Head, a bit of fog and 55 degrees. And that'll do it for OBX Today Live here on Facebook and YouTube. Thanks for joining us, as always, to get your morning started. Back with you tomorrow to wrap up the week. Thanks, everybody, for checking in. Thanks, everybody, for shooting us comments. It's always nice to have the comments because we can interact with you that way. I'm going to make sure I didn't miss anything because anybody else had a comment for us this morning that we might have not gotten to, but I can't seem to pull that screen up on my phone. So we'll go over to, here we go. Yep. There we go. Okay. Yep. I think we got all the questions answered. Good morning, everybody. Have yourself a great Thursday today. We'll be back with you tomorrow at 8 o'clock here with OBX Today Live, presented by Gallup Funeral Services Incorporated. I'm Sam Walker. Enjoy the rest of your Veterans Day, and thanks for everyone's service. See ya.
A simple binary code transmitted by carrier wave signal. Radio.